Welcome to Martini Time. You're in a beautiful Blackstone. Been up in the 80s, I think, today. This is the warmest it's been all year. And it's the jonquil, well, everything is blooming, particularly the wisteria on my front porch. I wrote about that this morning. But anyway, I'm all wound up and ready to go. See, last night I was picking up my daughter, who's in. So I didn't post last night, and she's here watching. So I hope I don't freeze up and get a deer in the headlights. Stage fright! Oh my God! So last time, not the night before last, I talked about you don't need permission to be you. And so I just wrote the title of tonight's talk, and you must be you. And we've been listening to what's that, Frank? What's his name? Weber?
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Andrew Lloyd Webber. It sounds like one of his songs. You must be you. So, what I mean by that is that we have to create ourselves. And that's what I was talking about the other night, was that when actually during the talk, I actually saw my whole life, the whole thread of my life in my struggle to be me. And there's always this, when we're struggling to be me, we always feel like the world won't let me be me. My boss won't let me be me. My spouse won't let me be me. The world won't, the people I'm working for, the industry I'm in, other people won't let me be me. So there's this constant contradiction going on that is really self-created. And for many, like myself, the struggle to be me in this conflict with this with this world that wouldn't let me be me, actually created a stronger me. So it's really part of the cocoon. It's part of the birthing process from the caterpillar to the butterfly. So the caterpillar must be a butterfly, and so he struggles with his wormness. And at some point, he goes into the cocoon, and there is a transformation there, and he comes out a butterfly. But the worm has no idea what a butterfly is like. So the worm has created himself into a beautiful flying flower that in the worm mind never could exist, you see, because you can't, when you're on one floor of a building, you can't imagine what the upper floor is if you've never been there. But if you're on the upper floor, you can look back and say, "Oh, I used to be a worm." You can see the track, But from the bottom side of it, the lower order can't see the higher order. So there is a cocoon stage here. There is a transformation stage here where you get tired, it just falls off. You just are exhausted by struggling to become something that the world won't let you be. And the problem is that when you create yourself into a butterfly, you don't know who you are in the sense of what you should be or what you think you should be. You become creative. In other words, and creativity means something that never existed before. So you're creating something that never existed before. So how could you want to be that? You don't know what it is. But of course, we're all on a particular path, you'd say, of our passion in life, what we love doing, and whether it's being a master quilter or a piano player or a singer or a painter or whatever you're doing that you have a passion for, it is in that field that you begin to discover and create yourself anew. So artists do this all the time. When you create a work of art that never existed before, and you really didn't know what it was until you saw it. But the problem with the art is that when you go back into your personality after you leave your art, you may be back in a cocoon again. You may be a worm again. So what I'm interested in is, how do you become a butterfly in all of your life rather than in just a particular aspect of your life, you see. And that's really the spiritual path, is to become a butterfly in everything you do, being free in everything you do. And so that, it's kind of like in not being just in one particular dependency, where it's only when I'm hunting that I'm free, or it's only when I'm in my shop that I'm free, or when I'm cooking am I free, and the rest of the time I feel like a worm. You see, so anyway, this permission to be you is driving all of us, really. And the story that Joseph Campbell talks about in his study of the Arthurian romances, and particularly the tales of the Holy Grail and the search for the Holy Grail. When the knights were sitting around the round table, they had a vision of the Holy Grail. And this is the Holy Grail is a metaphor for the butterfly. It's for your completion, your full potential, you see. And so they all set out to find the Holy Grail, but they went into the forest where no other one had been. So they didn't follow any other path. So this symbolically means that you don't, when you are becoming you as a unique creative being, you can't follow another path. Oh, if you're a pianist or something, you would certainly go and learn from the masters. But at some point, you have to leave the masters behind and break out and create yourself, you see. So so the knights all went into the woods where there was no path. One knight, Percival, became the Grail Knight, the one that found the Grail, and he dropped the reins to his horse and let his nature lead the way. And now that's symbolic of letting your nature, your passion lead the way. And so therefore you're not, at some point, you break free of trying to fit into another path and do what somebody else is doing, even your master teacher. At some point, you step beyond that. And when you're ready, it'll just happen, because the worm, the caterpillar, at some point becomes a butterfly. It's his nature to become a butterfly, so it's our nature to become who we are, our unique person, you see. And when we discover that, the great burden of conflict and the tremendous amount of energy waste trying to be who we are and fighting the world that won't let us be who we are, all of that energy now becomes creative energy. And the other thing is that when you become your whole self, your natural self, then you are going to, you are life, and life is going to create the nutrients, the food it needs to grow. It's not like you have to, oh, well, where am I going to get the money? Oh, no, where am I going to get help? Oh, no, well, I can't see how this is going to work. Oh, no, oh, it can't be, I can't, well, you haven't gone through the cocoon yet. So when the butterfly has plenty of flowers to live on, but the worm doesn't live on a flower. You can't imagine flowers being everywhere for the butterfly to live, you see. He can't imagine that. So when the worm becomes a butterfly, he discovers that the whole world is a flower to him. Everywhere he goes, there's a flower. It's that the flowers were created for him, you see. And so when we step beyond the boundaries of our fear, the world becomes our flower. Everything opens up. And this was symbolized in the Buddha's legend, when he awakened and became the full potential of human consciousness. The tree showered him with flowers. He was sitting on the world showers. So when you break out of the cocoon, it's going to be like being on Broadway. And you break out and you sing your song, and the whole world applauds, you see. Finally, You have broken through the cocoon. You have transformed yourself from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And the whole world will applaud and will celebrate that. And it's a joyous celebration. And it's our destiny to be yourself. Because you're a butterfly. You're a butterfly. Thanks for dropping in.